What's up guys? In this video we're going to be checking out my new build here. It's a twin spear ninja mage. We got devastating melee and range damage, and we're also very agile out there on the battlefield, so it's really hard to hit us. It all meshes very well. Now this is a build that's mainly built around PvP, but you can just switch out a couple items and you'll destroy in PvE as well. If you haven't played much PvP, or the only PvP you've gotten into was maybe being invaded when you're playing with a buddy, I would definitely recommend using the Taunter's Tongue and getting out there and getting in some brawls. I'm not really going to get too much into PvP tips. I'll probably come out with something later on that, but it's a lot of fun and you should definitely get into it. Alright, so now let's go ahead and check out the stats here. So now for level, I'm sticking around 145. I might go up to 150. I like it for the PvP. I'm having a lot of fun and I can still clear game content at this level. Now the three stats that you're going to want to worry about the most are Vigor, Mind, and Intelligence. I have a talisman that gives me 5 intelligence, so I actually have my intelligence at 60. Now for mine, because this is more built towards a PvP build, I like to have a ton of FP so I could just really dump a bunch of spells on people. So 49 is kind of perfect for me right here. You don't really have to go that high if you're going to be playing more PvE. So you could take some of that, put it into intelligence or vigor, and then vigor's at 51. I feel like that's kind of perfect for me right now. I like having 1800 HP. But just remember, these stats are all personal preference for the most part. You can definitely play with that a little bit. This is just like a basic guide on what's working for me. So let's go ahead and take a look at the weapons here. Now for the weapons, for PvE I use Moonveil, but I don't use that in PvP. I do keep it equipped though, in case I'm getting cheesed by somebody. But this is what I go with right here, is twin spears. I'm just throwing on any basic spear here that I have. I don't have to meet any attribute requirements with these two. In your main hand, you do want to go with a spear that you could throw an Ash of War on, because the Bloodhound Step is really crucial to this build. When you're using these twin spears and Bloodhound Step, it's a great combo. You could just blink around people and just keep stabbing them, poking them, stabbing them. And I feel like it's really hard for them to get away from it. It has some deceiving range to it, and they're actually pretty fast as well. If you're not really feeling the twin spears, you could always go with like some twin katanas or something. Just make sure you put that Bloodhound Step on there and then change the affinity to magic so we could keep that attribute scaling to intelligence. And then for our staff, we're going with Lustat's Glintstone Staff. We get that extra damage. We do sacrifice some FP, but we have plenty of mine. And I really do think it's the best for PvP, because you're just trying to burst down the enemy, at least with this build I am. If you're going PvE, maybe the Carrion Regal Scepter is the best. But for PvP, definitely go with the Lusats. You could use it in both though. It destroys in both. Now for the armor, we're pretty much just running mage gear here and Lusat's Crown for the extra damage. We don't have high poise or high physical damage negation here, so we're mainly bursting them down from range and then using the Bloodhound Step to blink around and kind of just pick them apart. Now for the talismans, we're going to be running this one for the potency. We're running Moon of Noxtella for the increased memory slots. Stargazer Heirloom, this is to get 5 more intelligence. And then the last is Radagon Icon for the shortened spellcasting time. Now for the Flask of Wondrous Physick, this is actually really crucial. You want to get the Magic Shrouding Cracked tier and the Cerulean Hidden tier. That'll give you a boost to your magic attacks and then also eliminate FP consumption for 15 seconds. If you pop the Terra Magicus spell, the one that gives you more damage on the ground, and then drink this flask right before a PvP fight, you can start out that fight with a huge advantage, pumping out a ton of damage, spamming spells. You could just make it really hard on them to avoid all that damage. Alright, so now let's check out what spells we're running here. Alright, so to get a lot of these spells, you're going to have to complete the Ronnie's questline. If you haven't done that yet, I would definitely do that. You get a ton of good stuff out of that. But for the first one, the Duelist Moonblade, this is probably one of the highest damage skills we have. Terra Magica, that's for the extra damage. Stars of Ruin, this thing is a very good tracker. You can put a lot of pressure on somebody by just putting a couple of these out there. Loretta's Mastery, this is actually a lot of fun to use. And it's really good to use free aim too. Eternal Darkness for when you're playing against another mage. Carrion Phalanx, you could either use this one or the Greatsword one, but I prefer this one. We got the Gavel here too, but to be honest, I use the Moonblade a lot more. And then the last one being Rain of Stars, in case someone's pressing you too much. Now for PvE, I would probably take out Rain of Stars and Eternal Darkness, and then run Comet Azure, and then also put on the Azure Helm. Alright, so we're just going to do a quick rundown here on my playstyle with the build. I usually just start out with the Carrion Daggers here, and then if I have time, I'll pop the magic symbol on the ground for the more damage. And then I'm just kind of hitting them with Stars of Ruin and Loretta's Mastery, kind of feeling them out, seeing if do I need to go more melee or more ranged. If they start pressing me like this guy did, then I just start blinking around And I kind of just wait for an opening here. I see an opening. Boom. Get him for almost 1400 with that Moonblade. And that's pretty much it. You have the luxury of staying ranged for the whole fight if you want to. Blinking backwards if someone's really pressing you hard, like a heavy bleed build. Or if you see that they're kind of weak in melee range, you could go in there with your double spears. Or hit him with the Moonblade. Even hit him with the Gavel if you want. So there's a lot of flexibility here. It's a lot of fun. And if you guys have any tips on maybe a way we can make this build better, be sure to leave them down in the comments. But I think that's going to do it for this one. If you guys found this video at all helpful, please be sure to throw me a like, maybe even drop a sub if you want to see more. And I'll see you guys in the next one.